So today we're going to talk about another book, and now we're going to go through another book. The book is called What Doesn't Kill Us, the Wim Hof Method Summary, authored by Scott Carney. Might actually be the case that I've already went through this on one and or the other day, but I don't know. And it is relatively long and relatively a heavy read in terms of the amount of text that is in the summary. And so I think that I haven't gone through it because I would have remembered that. But as I said, I don't actually really know. Let's actually see. I think it starts there. So, what doesn't kill us and the Wim Hof Method. What doesn't kill us traces our evolutionary journey back to a time when survival depended on how well we adapted to the environment around us. Our ancestors crossed the Alps in animal skins and colonized the New World in loincloths. They evaded predators and built civilizations with just their raw brain power and inner grit. But things have changed and now comfort is king. Today we live in a thrall of constant climate control and exercise only when our office schedules permit. The technologies that we use to make us comfortable are so all-encompassing that they would sever or sever the biological link to a changing environment. Now we hate the cold and the heat, we suffer from autoimmune diseases, and many of us are chronically overweight. Most of us don't even realize that natural variation, sweating and shivering is actually good for us. What doesn't kill us uncovers how just about anyone can reclaim a measure of our species' evolutionary strength by tapping into the things that feel uncomfortable. When we slightly reimagine how our body fits into the world, we can condition ourselves to find resilience in unfamiliar environments. The feeling that something is missing from our daily routines is growing and has spawned a movement. Every year, millions of people forgo traditional gyms and push the limits of human endurance by doing boot camp style workouts in raw conditions. These extreme athletes train in CrossFit boxes, compete in Tough Mudders, and challenge themselves in Spartan races. They are connecting with their environment and, whether they realize it or not, are changing their bodies. No one exemplifies this better than Dutch fitness guru Wim Hof. I wouldn't consider him a fitness guru, but rather, it's difficult to say, but he's not a fitness guru, whose remarkable ability to control his body temperature in extreme cold has sparked a whirlwind of scientific study. Because of him, scientists in the United States and Europe are just beginning to understand how cold adaptation might help combat autoimmune diseases and chronic pains, and in some cases even reverse diabetes. Award-winning investigative journalist Scott Carney dives into the fundamental philosophy at the root of this movement in 3 interlocking narratives. His own journey culminates in a record-spanning 28-hour climb up to the snowy peak of Mount Kilimanjaro, wearing nothing but a pair of running shorts and sneakers. I'm sorry, but probably doesn't matter. Humans involved with environmental stressors, it is good to have them. Modern humans live in an environment so perfectly fine-tuned for our comfort, our bodies rarely ever get exposed to stress anymore. In our distant past, the climate was one of the main stressors our ancestors endured: cold, harsh temperatures, and so on. It turns out that no environmental extreme induces as many changes in human psychology as the cold does. So, how did our ancestors survive? The answer is their bodies were perfectly adapted to meet the challenges, and those genes still exist in our genetic pool, but they are just turned off for the most part. I wonder if this really is the case, because we adapt that to our environment as well, just because we're having a different environment. You know what? We're having, climate control and whatnot, so I don't know, but still, I think we are not having it for such a long time that we have adapted it to such a degree that we don't have these genes if they exist, or we don't have the capability of changing something. Because it's only been maybe 100 years, 200 years, something like that. And I think that's not enough time. There's an entire hidden physiology in our bodies that operates on evolutionary programming most of us make no attempt to unlock. 3 types of nervous systems. First, it is important to understand the 3 types of muscle control that emerge from our nervous system. There are the muscles we can control voluntarily. This part is called the somatic nervous system. Then there is the muscles that we have almost no control over, like the heart, the motion of the vascular system, speed of the digestion, and dilation of our pupils. Well, I can control the dilation of my pupils. I would actually kind of like to show you. Maybe I'm able to record a video at some point, but it has something to do with focus. I can voluntarily focus on narrower or further away objects. Well, more narrow, which lets my pupils, I think, widen, as far as I know. But I can't do that. I don't know why, but yeah, to really be honest, I don't want to be like, wow, I'm such an amazing person. No, I probably think that there's like many other people that are able to do so. Maybe, yeah, I don't know. All these form part of the autonomic nervous system. And then there is the third one. This group is shared between the autonomic and somatic systems. Breathing, for example, or instance. Ciao. Blinking of our eyes. We can perform those actions consciously, but as soon as we focus elsewhere, our autonomic nervous system takes over. This third group is the one very interesting to us because it can act as an interface to train the automatic nervous system voluntarily, which makes sense, which really does make super duper sense. And I've never thought about it in that way. I know the Wim Hof Method. I've been trying it. I've been doing it. I've been just playing with it and whatnot. But I haven't thought about it in that way, because it really makes sense. We're using it as a tool. We're using it as an interface. We're using it as a way to, change how things are, essentially. Pretty amazing. The wedge. We are able to withstand certain urges consciously. For instance, trying to delay a snooze, standing in the snow, taking a cold shower. All those acts demand certain willpower, which enables us to override our natural urges to act. It seems like a small thing, but it's a window into the root of a human power and a place that, if exercised, can help unlock the body's hidden biology. Freedivers who descend hundreds of feet below the surface of the ocean on a single breath sometimes call it the master switch. It's the point where the body meets the mind. Any pre-programmed physical response is potentially susceptible to the wedge as long as it has 3 key characteristics. First, stimulus must trigger a predictable automatic biological response or reflex. First, there needs to be a clearly identifiable external stimulus. Second, that stimulus must trigger a predictable automatic biological response or reflex. And third, that physical response must elicit a feeling or sensation you can visualize or imagine independently of the extreme trigger or external trigger. If the reflex has 3 characteristics, then using the wedge is as simple as setting up an environmental stimulus and then resisting the sensation that it triggers. Over time, it becomes easier to maintain the tension between reflex and mental control. I've never thought about it in that way. I'm taking a cold shower every single day for 4 minutes. Quite. But I've never thought about it in a way of willingly withstanding the urge of shivering, for example. I don't shiver. Most often when I'm in a cold shower, I just feel my body reacting to the cold in terms of how should I say, muscles are getting very tight. And other things. I'm not very, very, very good at thinking today. You might hear it in my voice as well. I'm a bit fucked, so yeah. So training starts with one of the most fundamental human reflexes, the urge to breathe. When the Buddha first taught meditation to his followers, he recommended that they start by watching their breath move in and out their body. Breath work is a staple of every yoga class as students move their bodies in sync with their lungs. The Wim Hof Method takes students to hold their breath until they can't take it anymore and then hold it just a little longer. This is the quickest and probably safest way to build your own wedge. The urge to grasp for air is not directly linked to the amount of oxygen in the bloodstream. That's because, for some reason, that has been lost in the convoluted process of evolution. The body cannot sense oxygen, only its byproduct. Breathing is a two-part process, inhaling to bring oxygen to the lungs and exhaling to expel carbon dioxide or CO2. When the brain senses too much CO2 in the bloodstream, the chest tightens, vision blurs, and just about every muscle from the abdomen to the forehead clenches down hard. When we talk about this sensation, we usually say that we need to take a breath or breathe. However, on a psychological level, our body wants to expel CO2. It sounds counterintuitive, but it is easy enough to test. Take a deep breath in and hold it until you feel the urge to breathe. Then release a little bit of air. With less CO2 in your lungs, you will feel like you can hold your breath a little longer. That's because you have removed a potentially poisonous waste product from our body and our nervous system has turned off the alarm bells. Such an amazing book, it's a pity that I haven't gone through it earlier. This basic gas exchange creates an opportunity to trick our nervous system into extending the amount of time that you can hold your breath, thus leading to the very first training technique to crack into your nervous system. Training the wedge. Should I go through it? Or should I end it there? Well, I'm gonna go through it. First, let's establish our baseline. Take a deep breath and stop watch yourself to see how long you can hold it. Write down your baseline. Now it is time to train. Start by sitting or lying down. Take 30 deep breaths. Breathe in deeply, but don't exhale all the way down. Just let go. Don't force the exhale. Then breathe in again. Do it 30 times. Pretty soon, especially if you're doing this the first time, you will feel a little dizzy or tingling sensations. This is completely normal. After 30 breaths, your blood will be saturated with oxygen and you will have cleared out most of the CO2 in your system. Now stop breathing and with a full chest hold on and time yourself to see how long it takes you to reach the point where you feel an urge to gasp. Once you reach the point where you feel an urge or reflex to breathe, when you can't stand it anymore, let the air out of your lungs. It will give you a little more time without having to breathe in. Most people will have a dramatic improvement in how long they can hold their breath after a few of these cycles. Yes, that's the case. One remarkable account of the application of the Wim Hof Method. Yeah, this is going to be something for the next time. So, thank you very much for watching and or listening. It depends on what you did. And yeah, I'm hopefully going to see you the next time. So I wish you the best health, happiness, and all success. And I also hope that you're going to find yourself and you're going to be remembered. Which basically means your legacy and basically means just being a nice person. And then being remembered as a nice person, which is a really fucking cool thing. The other questions that I have you are why? I hear when I try to change and what's bothering you the most, these 3 questions. So hopefully going to show you a purpose and maybe even a business idea, which is a pretty fucking cool thing. Yeah. But with that being said, I'm hopefully going to see you the next time. And yeah, take care of yourself, your family members, and all of your loved ones. And remember, we all can say something that's indeed going to change somebody's life. Yeah. Bye-bye.